Hey, it's Zach from the 718 Motor Pool, and today we're going to be talking about the time the Florida Highway Patrol got a fleet of high-performance Mercury Marauders. If you like emergency vehicle content, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell. Also, join me on Discord. Now, on with the video. Mercury was introduced in 1939 by Ford as an intermediate brand to bridge the gap between the entry-level Ford brand and the luxury Lincoln brand. Mercury lasted until 2011, and by that point, they had survived almost exclusively because of the Grand Marquis. Now, the Marauder name would first appear in 1958 as a family of engines designated for the Mercury Edsel and Lincoln divisions, and in 1963 the Marauder was introduced as a performance package for the Mercury line. That iteration of the Marauder lasted until 1965, and it would appear again in 1969 as another performance-oriented model, and only lasted until 1970 due to disappointing sales. Mercury police cars were first documented in the late 1940s, with the CHP using them as early as 1947. Now, there isn't a lot of documentation on police package Mercurys, and they were never really a huge player in the police car market. And they seemed to peak in the 1970s with the midsize Mercury Monterey, which was used by the CHP in 1970. Other agencies that used Mercurys in large numbers were the LAPD, Missouri Highway Patrol, as well as the Arizona Highway Patrol. And these all seem to be in the early to mid-70s, and Mercury stepped out of the police car market in 1982. In 2003, Mercury would reintroduce the Marauder nameplate again, this time based on the Grand Marquis, which was the corporate cousin of the Ford Crown Victoria and the Lincoln Town Car. The Marauder would share suspension and numerous other parts from the Crown Vic Police Interceptor, but the engine would be sourced from the Mustang Mach 1, producing 302 horsepower, making the Marauder the fastest car produced on the Panther platform. Visually, the cars had a monochrome scheme and were available in black and silver. 2003 models had the option of dark blue, while 2004 had the option of dark red. Florida Highway Patrol has always had a reputation for aggressive traffic enforcement, and with that reputation you have to equip your cops with the right equipment for the job. In the 1980s and 90s, the Florida Highway Patrol was the second largest purchaser of SSP Mustangs, and in the 90s and 2000s they continued with police package Camaros, which stopped production in 2002. So in 2004, Peter Warwick, a reserve captain for the FHP and a local businessman who decided at the time to remain anonymous, donated 27 unmarked Mercury Marauders to the Florida Highway Patrol. Before delivery to the FHP, these cars were sent to Reinhardt Automotive, which was a tuner shop in Florida that specialized in Fords. Reinhardt modified these cars with one goal in mind: make them fast. These cars were modified with an ECU tune that removed the speed limiter, a body-length skid plate to reduce drag, an aluminum drive shaft, and improved brakes. At Reinhardt, these cars got upfitted with Canadian DNR sirens as well as a standard red and blue FHP lighting package. Now, one visual clue that was added to the FHP cars, these cars would get Cobra badges on the fenders. As these cars went into service and issues arose from the modifications, they were immediately and aggressively rectified. One trooper reported cracking a brake rotor after a pursuit with a motorcycle, and as a result, all the Marauders in the program would get drilled in slotted rotors. One trooper reported hearing the drive shaft hitting the body of the car at speeds of 150 miles an hour. After that, the cars received carbon fiber drive shafts. So these cars were used for aggressive driving enforcement all over the state, and they were a massive success. Due to the unprecedented performance of these cars, troopers assigned to these cars got Marauder-specific training, and these cars were allegedly still running into the early 2010s. But, as most state vehicles, they ended up getting auctioned off, and every once in a while, one of these cars surfaces for sale. Over 20 years after these cars were put into service, they remained a legend in both the police car and the Panther platform circles. So if you had any experience with these cars, if you own one, got pulled over by one, or even drove them when they were in service, I'd love to hear your stories in the comments.
If you liked the video, be sure to hit that like button. If you haven't yet, hit the bell below to subscribe. Check the link below for our Discord server, social media links, and for merch.